What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of KC Locker Room Talk. I am your host and your favorite Kansas City girl, Kennedy Bright. And as always, what is said in the locker room stays in the locker room. Today, we have a very special guest with us. We have the lovely Erris Pierson, and I'm just so excited for you guys to get to meet her. We need to go like way back, and I think you guys are going to really like her, and she's going to be back on the show like many times.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm so freaking excited. Just a little bit about me. I'm from Kansas City too. Kennedy and I kind of always have run in the same circles, so here we are now. I've pretty much played sports my whole entire life. I don't play sports in college right now, but I just play like rec volleyball and stuff like that just to keep me active. I know everything that you could ever think of about an athlete, being in a relationship with one, being in a situationship with one. Like you think of it, and I've probably been in one with them. But I think that this is a great thing. It's a great community, and I think that this should be a space, and I'm glad that it is now a space. So thank you, Kennedy, for having me, and I hope that I can give you guys some insight that's important and useful, and we'll see what I shoot out.
Yes, Eric, I'm telling you guys, there's no one better to have for this episode on scouting reports and having standards because I feel like we set our standards and we stick to them, and you all should do the same. And we also are very good on doing our digging. We're FBI agents, okay? Like we're not mall cops, FBI. So I was like, this person has to be Eris, if anyone. So I'm so excited. So today we'll cover what a scouting report is and why you need one, and then we'll go over like how you like do your research to actually build the report and like your investigation work. But first, I want to start off with like some relevant topics. Okay, so first off, Valentine's Day was this weekend. I don't know how you guys Valentine's Day was, but mine was pretty good. How was yours, Iris? How was your Valentine's Day?
Um, well, it was okay considering I am currently like kind of getting out of a relationship. I don't know, it was not like a situationship.
Mm-hmm.
So that sucked because like whatever. But I do have amazing parents, and my mom like DoorDashed me donuts. And then
Oh,
my dad got me flowers that Friday. And then my roommate did like this really cute like Valentine's Day surprise. So like Valentine's Day events were beautiful, but the day was just kind of like sucky because I've never really celebrated Valentine's Day, but I've
mm-hmm.
always just been like, oh, like maybe this could have been the year. Just because like the ending of everything that's going on in my life was so soon. I was like, dang. But it was still good. Like I love Valentine's Day. I love love. It was just good. How
Yes.
what'd you do?
So like mine, I literally did nothing. It's my grandparents' anniversary, so like I always like make sure I call them and stuff or whatever. Yeah, it's like I called my grandpa first because he always has been like call my nana, and then I think she thought I forgot or whatever. She called me a couple hours like, "Oh, Kennedy, what are you doing?" And I didn't forget. I just wanted to give Papa a little bit of time to feel special today that I called him first. But I didn't do anything. This is the first year, especially like if you like since college, where I'm not like really involved with someone. Like the first year, you guys are gonna kill me, but the first guy, he hung out with me during the day, and then he hung out with his other girl that night. Found that out later though. Yes, it was, yeah, it got me like this little bear thing, and he got her the same one. It was a whole thing. Then the next year when I went away to school, um, basketball player. So what happened? He had a game like on Valentine's Day away, and then he like cost him the game winning like points. So it was the whole thing. Then like the next year, basketball game again, different school. Then last year, the guy like we were not even on good terms, and he was on like a championship tour. So it wasn't really good. And every year, I think it always usually is like, oh my god, like I'm not gonna do anything like other girls. It's never special, or I'm always just like upset about something, or I'm just like, oh, everyone's getting to feel the love and I don't. This year, it was really nice. I did not have to worry about it. I just like enjoyed watching all my friends like get surprises and go to dinner and like seeing them dress up. To me, I think this year was more kind of like, wow, like seeing that for myself in the future. Like, wow, I feel like I'm getting closer to dealing with it. I feel like being single is such a negative connotation with Valentine's Day, but it was actually nice. Besides,
Yeah.
watching men claim their girls that they normally do not claim
Like, so
any
like
other
when I
time.
tell you, Kennedy, like some of my really good friends that I didn't even know were dating, like posted someone. I was like, oh, so like, okay, you guys are dating someone. Like I didn't know this. Like
Yes.
crazy. But this is just a funny story because you said something that was
Yeah.
funny. One year I was dating this guy and it was like whatever. And he didn't get me, oh, he got me something for Valentine's Day, but
Mhm.
he didn't give me anything. And my aunt, she is like the most amazing woman ever. Like she gives it to you straight though. So like whatever she says might hurt your feelings, but it's good.
Right.
And I told her, I was like, yeah, like X, Y, and Z didn't get me my gift. And like X, like I was like, I know he has it, but he just like didn't give it to me. And he was like, I'll just give it to you later. And she was like, just so you know, if they give you a Valentine's Day gift late just because they didn't like they weren't doing something that was actually reasonable, they're cheating on you. A couple months later, find out he's actually cheating on me. I was like, what is going on? And like
Yeah.
it was just like literally crazy because it was like such a cute gift, but I was
Mhm.
just like, oh, all right, cool, got it.
Yeah,
So
no, that's great. They always say February 15th is like side chick Valentine's Day or something like that. I've heard that for like years, but like, yes, I don't know if some of y'all got celebrated the day after. Well, you might know your spot now, but no, it was just like nice. But it was also like me and my sister just for like making jokes, like, bro, did you see who like posted like since when were they dating? And it was like, of course, all on TikTok. Girls like, really? He's been a single man in the streets and now all of a sudden he's in a relationship. I'm like, yeah. So then I also was grateful that I was not in any of those situations where I'm like, oh my God, Valentine's Day to my love. And everyone's like, really? Because he definitely was with so and
yeah,
so and so and so.
no kidding. But my roommate and I always like joke and laugh about this, but every girl, in my opinion, is beautiful. Like they
Mhm.
are pretty in like their own way. Like they're just
Right.
a girl is pretty. And then it's always like some beautiful girl and it's just some random guy. Just some
Yes.
random like I'm like, girl, you look like $1 million constantly and you want to date this man that literally looks like a freaking penny on the ground. Like, are you kidding
Does not
me?
make sense. It
Does
don't add
not.
up. And we're
And
just
that's
like,
why I'm okay with not being in a relationship because I'm like, I know my worth and I will not settle. I will not settle.
no, I can't. No one will come for me or my man. Okay. If I'm gonna be looking right, like he has to too. We're not gonna sit up here and allow people to rip him to pieces because I can't fight all these people, okay, for talking about my man. So it's a no. Also, today is actually Ash Wednesday. I don't know who all is Christian. It's not like a Christian podcast, but I did want to bring it up simply because I want to know what you guys are giving up, for Lent. Seeing that Easter happens after my 24th birthday, I'm kind of limited on what I'm giving up because let's be real, child, I'm trying to turn up. So I'm like, don't know. But you can add things, not just have to give up. You can also add things. So maybe I say, like, oh, I'm gonna for sure do yoga or something like that, something positive and add to my routine since we're not taking out nothing because
That's
Easter
so funny
is after my
because
birthday.
I am Catholic.
Mhm.
So of course we celebrate or we, do Lent and Ash Wednesday
Yeah.
and stuff. And I was like, every single year I'm always like, I'm gonna give up cussing. And then
Mhm.
the exact same day I say that, I literally say a cuss word. But I
Right.
usually don't cuss that much, but it's just like one of those things that's like I don't really want it in my vocabulary. Like I'm gonna be a teacher. I can't really like just practice.
Yes.
But I've never thought about adding things. Like I need to
Mhm.
figure out what like I journal a lot, but I think I'm gonna do like a daily journal or like a daily like workout if it's like walking or like something just because like
Yeah.
that's good to like add things because usually I always eliminate, but it's like no,
Yes.
I can just add something and just okay, that's good. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I know I'm definitely going to for sure, like I would say like, oh, I'll give up like alcohol or something, but I'm like, I don't really drink like that. I drink wine, a couple nights a week. But my birthday's coming up and I don't even want to, my birthday is literally the 25th and I think it's the 7th, I think was Easter. And I'm like, yeah, but I also don't want to break a commitment to the Lord. So I don't want to do that. So I think I'm gonna do like I always said cussing because like with journalism, being a journalism major, like you can't cuss like on TV and like usually when you slip. So that is something I would think about. Definitely I could definitely do cussing because that's something I want to do. But I think for adding, I definitely want to add water because that's something that could affect my life in a positive way because I'm a terrible water drinker. I love me some Sprite. I could cut out Sprite because one thing I learned growing up, like with Limp, is like on Sunday, you get to have whatever you like gave up. So I still could be getting my Sprite, on a Sunday.
I did
So
not know this.
yes. Well, my dad, for people who don't know, is the minister. So that's kind of why I know that. But yeah, on Sunday, you get to have whatever. So like if you give up like dessert, you can have it on like a Sunday like that. So
That
yeah,
changes
so
the game because I could
it
give
does.
up Dr. Pepper and then I could have it on Sunday because if
Yes,
anybody doesn't know, hello everyone, you're just not meeting me. I am obsessed with Dr. Pepper. I had
he
an
is.
ice storm a couple days ago and I went outside in the ice storm to get a case of Dr. Pepper. Like I drink like two a day. Like Dr. Pepper
Yeah.
is my lifeline.
Mm-hmm.
And that changes the game that I know that I can drink it on Sundays
Mine
now.
is a Sprite. And the one thing too is so me and my brother back in high school gave up soda because we both were playing sports like in high school. I'm like, oh, we're gonna give it up. And like my brother gave it up for Lent and literally has never gone back, like at all. He hates soda now. And so some people do use Lent as a time to break like cycles. So if there is something that you're really, even if you're not Christian, like you can just pick 30 days, just do it with us. You don't have to like be like a religious thing or whatever, but like try to pick something and like give it up. But yeah.
To make this relevant to our conversation that we're going to have today,
Mm-hmm.
if anybody's hung up on their ex or a man
Ooh.
that does not give you effort, 30
Mm-hmm.
days, no communication. It's going to suck, but just 30 days of it. And like, because that's the thing, like, in order to create a habit, it only takes 21 days.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be hard for the first couple of weeks. Absolutely. Yes.
So
But
smart.
also, like what I do when I like try not to talk to somebody, like if I want to talk to him, I change my friend's number to his. I'm like, oh, I want to text Bob the builder. I'm gonna change Sarah's name to Bob. So like I always, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a really good thing if you're like trying to get over somebody. You can just do like 30 days, no communication, no watching their stories, no nothing, and it's gonna suck, but it's gonna be so rewarding because after those 30 days, like you're not gonna think about him
Yeah.
probably 20 days in. So you have those 10 days to yourself to figure out what you really want in this next season of your life. It's just perfect.
Okay, this is so I'm about to go. Yeah, I need to write some stuff down. I never thought of that. That is so that is smart. Just we're gonna use these next pick 30 days. We're gonna use them to really like move forward and better ourselves. Like the year's still fresh, the year's still young. Okay, we're gonna do something. Okay. I think that
Mhm.
was really good. That's really smart. But yes, that literally goes into basically like the topic of today and putting yourself first and everything. So the first topic is the scouting report. So we feel for you to properly pick any guy, you need a scouting report. And for those of you that don't know what a scouting report is, it's what college coaches use to recruit players. So basically, inside the scouting report, it's gonna have like their height, their weight, their grades, what kind of character, things they post on social media, anytime they talk with a coach, like everything's documented in there. And basically, it's just a way for coaches to figure out, okay, is this person like the right fit? Is this person going to be a good part of the program? Are we going to, are they coachable? Things like that. And so basically, they come in, they're going to have like, okay, this is what I'm looking for in a player or in this position. And then you just fill in the blanks. Does this person have these things or not? And so I think that's really good. But one thing Eris has said when we talked about this before was a really good point. I'm gonna let her bring it up before we move on. Is what you should
Oh,
have for yourself.
yeah. So I just believe that everybody should have a scouting report for yourself because you cannot hold somebody else accountable if you can't hold yourself accountable. So, I mean, it can be like really easy things, like just things that you will not budge on, and also things that you know you bring to the table. But along with that, every scouting report has like something that the coach doesn't like about that player. So that could
Mm-hmm.
be something that you want to work on or something that you know is a weakness, but might be a strength to someone else. So, I always just like keep my scouting report of both my men and myself in my notes because it's always with me. My phone's always with me. And it's also just a really good way of like, I know that if I have this weakness of like, I'm terrible at time management, and he also has something that's terrible at time management, we're not going to be a good pair.
No.
So just having those together is always like really good to also like hold yourself accountable. And this is also for people that like aren't really looking to like date someone, but want to date themselves. Like date yourself through your scouting
Mm-hmm.
report, and it works wonders. Trust me.
Yes, and I feel like the older you get, like we all like, I'm pretty sure a lot of us, let's be real, like, oh, I'm gonna be married by 25. I'm gonna blah blah blah. And now like I'm hitting like literally 24 next month. Oh my God. I'm like, okay, what was I really thinking when I said that? Like it sounds reasonable. And I do have a lot of friends who are that I grew up with that are engaged or already married, whatever. But the point is I look back at myself and I'm like, yeah, we're not ready for that yet. Because my thing is like the next guy I meet, he does not have to be my husband. But the point is I want to at least learn and move forward in a place where I feel like I'm bringing my best self forward. So I think dating myself right now is going to be really good at this like phase in my life to figure out, okay, what do I bring to the table? What do I need to work on? Because you don't want to have a flaw that's fixable and then you really run a good person away because you just didn't take care of like that flaw. Like if someone had bad breath, you would want them to brush their teeth or go to the dentist and figure it out. It's fixable. You don't want to run people away because you're being stubborn about something that's actually fixable. So I think that that's really true. I think everyone should start off with first dating themselves and creating your own scouting report. Like be real with yourself. It's not tearing yourself down, but it's just literally being like, okay, let's be real. Kennedy, we know we can snap a lot. We can go off at the mouth. We can rip somebody to pieces when you upset me. That's not good. I can express myself other ways. So just taking that into consideration, I think it's going to be really good. You need to be like a coach. Coaches stick to what it is. That does not mean that every player they pick, sometimes, you recruit a guy and he turns out to be wrong. He's a partier, he's not what you thought, and that's fine. But the point is, you still put your best foot forward and you actually at least hold that person to like a good like accountability of like, okay, this is the kind of person I think you're going to be. You can't, someone else acts a certain way, that's not on you, it's on them. But you want to make sure you're putting yourself in a good situation. Be like a coach. Okay.
Yeah, I completely agree, 1,010%. And it's also just really good for a scouting report to just, it could also be a reason as to why it didn't work out.
Right.
Like, because often, especially me, holy cow, like I always am like, why did this not work out? I genuinely cannot figure it out. But then when I look back, I'm like, well, it's because I tried to move my standards to fit this man that it
Mm-hmm.
cannot fit.
Yeah.
So I think just like knowing that like you have to know who you are and like know that your scouting report can evolve for both yourself and that person. Nobody's successful that way, but also like there should be non-negotiables on that. Like we'll get into this later, but I have a huge one that
Yes.
kind of weird, but it's good.
Yeah, no, you're right. Definitely about the, like putting your standards on other people, like being like reasonable. You know what I mean? Because like sometimes it's like, oh, you want everyone to fit into your box, but sometimes they really might not be able to fit into that box. And so it's like know that like there's gonna be someone out there who can't fit unless you're like asking for something like completely ridiculous. But 9 times out of 10, if you're asking for something reasonable, they will. But you can't expect someone else to live up to the expectations that you have of them in your head. And that's what a lot of times I say women do. Like we're upset because we have this image of a guy in our head and they don't live up to it. And that's not, it's not actually his fault. It's kind of ours. So be real. And
Yeah.
also, my therapist always taught me you have the right to choose someone. They're not just choosing you. So, like, don't just be like, oh, well, who's going to like me? Girl, pick somebody. Go and choose someone. Okay.
Yeah, pigs. Yeah, that's really good advice. Wow. I
Yeah. Cause
really,
I'm like, if I'm going to get my heart broken by someone, I just want it to be by someone I actually liked, not like, oh, this person. Cause I have made the mistake. I don't know if you've ever had, but like, I'll pick someone and like, I'll like them. And maybe it's because like, I think my dad will like them or my parents or something or my family. Like, he looks really good on paper. He's going to law school, like all this stuff. And I'm just like, something like goes down between us, it like falls apart. And I'm like, I literally almost basically hate this person. Excuse to use the word, but I cannot stand them or they do me wrong. I'm like, I didn't even like them in the first place. That's because I was picking them for the wrong reason. Like, don't ever do that for someone else. If you're gonna get your heart broken, at least get your heart broken by someone you actually like. Because if you get it by someone you don't, then you're just gonna be pissed off and heartbroken. And we don't want to be both.
yeah, no, literally. That's so funny. That's really good advice. Yeah.
Yes.
What are some
So
things you look at in your scouting report?
so for me, I like to say I have preferences and requirements. Requirements are like the one thing that I'm like, this I'm definitely not budging it, like the non-negotiables. So that one, like the only one I can say I for sure have on that one is literally like being a Christian, just because like I've dealt with some people who weren't. Sometimes we just don't align in that area. And so faith is important to me. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna leave that one for sure. Preferences, it can move around. I always make the joke about the height. I'm a huge, like, I want to be like 6'5". Why? Because I'm 5 foot. If you didn't know, I'm pretty short. And so I'm like, if I want my son to at least be average man height, 5'7", maybe he could be 5'10". We could be good on that. His dad has to be like almost extremely tall so that my short genes don't overpower. So people always joke about that, but that's like why. And I always say like, oh, I want someone who's athletes, they can understand my kids. But I've really gotten to a place where right now I'm really, my big one, which I probably just I would say a little bit would be a requirement, is someone who understands like anxiety and depression. That doesn't mean that they've experienced it themselves, but they do understand it and they do get how it operates, because like growing up my dad does not understand it really at all, and it's rough being that kid who doesn't. And with it being like genetic, my kids could have anxiety and depression, like Lord, I can't even talk, anxiety and depression like I do. And for them to not be able to feel like they have both parents who understand and can support them, or think that, oh, it's just get out of bed, I wouldn't want my kids to feel that way. So that's why that's something that is really important. So actually I'm gonna move that over to my requirements. Definitely that's gonna be a requirement, because like my brother doesn't have it like me and my sister. Like my sister has anxiety like I do, but my brother, he understands like how to like handle me. And so there are people I noticed who can without actually having it themselves. And I would think someone who understands about struggle. I want someone who can, I'm dyslexic with the math reading disability. So school is hard for Kennedy. Okay. And sometimes like, oh, just read, like just, autocorrect. I'm like, it's not how it works. That's another thing that is genetic. So I want someone who's going to be able to understand, like, if my kid's struggling in school, how to support them and stuff, just because I don't want someone, once again, who is like, I mean, you could be a straight A student, that's fine, but a kid who is like top tier, almost got a perfect ACT score, gets into every college, and he just doesn't understand why my kid's like struggling. Like, I want someone who's ever experienced something like that. So those are probably my big like requirement, like no negotiables. I just don't want someone who has had everything handed to him. Like, I can't do it. That's pretty
Yeah.
much it. And I love me a chocolate man. He doesn't have to be chocolate. I talk to God about it. I hope and I pray and I ask, is he chocolate? And say at least over 6 foot. God, if you listening, he might not be, but that's a preference, not a requirement, but it's a do.
Yeah. I think that we are pretty similar in like what we want, but kind of not really, because like you want like a religious man. I just want somebody that has good morals. Like,
Oh,
I
that's
just want
good.
to know that like our morals line up in one way or another. It doesn't have to be through our religion,
Mm-hmm.
but like, the basis of having a child and like how I'm gonna raise is the same, which for me right now in the season that I'm in, I'm 19 years old. Trust me, I don't think anybody that I've met in my life right now is who I'm going to marry. But it is a thing that's like, if I'm in a relationship for 2 to 3 years, like I'm gonna have to consider that. And
Right.
I have this really selfish, non-negotiable right now in the moment of my life. This is where like my scouting report changes. But I want to move to New York 2 years after, or like for the last 2 years of like after
Mm-hmm.
college. And if he doesn't want to move with me or like want to work the relationship out, it's not for me.
Right.
So that's like one of my two things. And then my biggest thing that I think everybody should have on their little thing, but nobody ever has it because nobody ever thinks of it, is how they treat the greeters at the grocery store.
Oh, yes.
And everyone's like, Eris, what the hell? Like, what are you talking about? Oh, shoot, what the heck? And I'm just like, it's so important because like that's how they treat literally everybody. Like if they don't acknowledge the person that is literally taking time out of their day to serve them,
Mm-hmm.
then they just no, they're just inconsiderate. And like it's really not that hard to say hello. Like, hello, thank you for giving me a basket. Like, especially right now in this like pandemic, like everybody's stressed. Like, just be nice and say hello. And if like you can't do that minimal thing, then you're not
Right.
gonna do the things that I really need you to do. So I think that's like my three things. And then some of my like preferences is like, yeah, preferably I like hope that he's black, but also like love is love. We'll see what happens. And then I do want them to be okay with not hanging out all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's really weird, but I am a Taurus and I
Taurus,
charge
that's what I was gonna say.
from yeah, like I charge just from like being away from people. But like if you were together too much, like I won't like you anymore. And I also take like 6 months to catch feelings. So like you have to be okay with like playing that waiting game. And people are probably like, Eris, what are you talking about? Like, why would anybody wait 6 months? And it's like, I'm not asking you to wait, like put your feelings on hold for 6 months. I'm just saying like what you might need and want out of my emotional suitcase might not be there at the time. So I think just
Right.
like the flexibility of just like the relationship and the feelings and like our time apart. Like I would be phenomenal in a long distance relationship because I don't need to see you all the
Yes.
time.
Oh
So
my God. Long distance people. Oh, and this might be like, I just made a TikTok about this, whatever. And it was like basically I was like, oh, if you have like commitment issues, like blah blah blah, stuff like that. I'm like, oh yeah, definitely. Athletes to me are the perfect one, especially basketball. Like, why? But they're never around. You might see them once a week. Then that means like while you're on campus, Kennedy's hair doesn't have to be done. I'm looking a mess because 9 times out of 10, I'm not gonna run into them. Like they're not in town, they're traveling all the time, it's 2 or 3 games a week. Like it's just, I don't know why, but I like how you say you get charged from like recharged from like this. I get recharged from like not seeing them all the time. Like I love the like, okay, you're here, but you're not here. Like we see each other, we don't like long distance would work beautiful for me. Long as it's not like months at a time. That probably would like bother me a little bit. But I'm like, oh no, I thrive off of that. I need my space. Like I need my time to like you.
like yeah, and like I just like I am very like I know what I want, I know what I need, I know how I ground myself, and like having to think about like grounding
Mhm.
myself with another person is just like I'm gonna have to do it eventually. But like once again, I'm 19 years old, so I'm kind of selfish. But like I
Right.
do, I'm just like a long distance relationship right now in my life would work. But I was gonna say something that was so good to go off your point. I don't really know what it was, but Yeah, I think
You
that
might think of it.
I'll probably think of it. It goes with the whole conversation, so it doesn't really matter when I
Yeah.
think of it. Yeah, like there's just some things and I'm like, I will not budge on this. And
Mm.
oh, that's what I was gonna say. This is psycho, but every girl needs to do it. Girls, listen up. Just listen, everybody tune in. I always never wear makeup and like wear like not that cute of an outfit because especially on our first date, because like that's how you're going to see me more than 50% of the time. So if
Yes.
you don't want to deal with that 75%, you're not getting me at my best at 25%. So like, and like, I'm not probably gonna look worse than I do on our first date, but like, if you were just like, who is this girl? She's a catfish. Then like, we're not it. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
like, I'm not gonna be somewhere hanging out with you, you and your buds, looking my best dress and my full face makeup. No, I'm in my sweatpants, my curly natural hair, like
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? Like that is just one of those things that's like it's like a little like secret, except for it's not a secret anymore because everyone knows. But like first date always look like casual. Like you can put jeans and like a cute top on, but like don't go all out for the first date because baby, that first date is not forever.
No, I agree. I'm the kind of person like I want to come off and just be like super normal, like how I always am. And then like we do something and I like pop out and I want you to be like, oh my God, like you can get like that. Yeah, I can get like that. Like you didn't know what all you was getting in the chocolate factory. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't know. Like you just saw me and was like, wow, she's nice. Like it's really cute. You see me on my snap stories and Insta stories where I'm just like this. But like I can clean up, as dudes say. I can get nice. Think about it. He might not even have a haircut. The man might show up wearing a do rag. Oh my God. If he shows up wearing a do rag, it's over. Now, if we're chilling at his place, that's different. But do not go out in public with me with a do rag on if you're supposed to
I
be
don't.
looking nice.
And like for me, it's so hard because like I don't know, like a lot of people know me from pageants, and like a lot of
Right.
who stalk me on Instagram, like I do pageants, like I dress up often, but it's also like I do not want to dress up. Like you know that I can look good. Just
Right.
look on Instagram. So like trust that and also like surprise. So
Yes.
I just like yeah, I never really like look like the baddest of the bad when I go out
Mm-mm.
unless it's like I'm going to dinner with your like family or your friends or something like that. But like other than that, I'm like, this is how you're going to see me majority of the time. So
Yes.
and I think that it's always been like a problem in our relationships that nobody really realizes because like guys care how you look and I
Mm-hmm.
never look bad, but it's always like I think they want me to look like more and I'm like, listen, that's not me. Like I'm not my Instagram. How about that? Like I
Yes.
post on Instagram once every 2 months because I only look good once every 2 months and I'm pretty,
Literally.
but like I don't feel the need to look like the baddest bee in the room at all times because I know my personality is the baddest bee in there. You know what I'm saying? Like I have
Yes.
qualities to make up for being the
Snaps.
baddest girl in the room constantly. So
Right.
yeah.
And her Instagram will be linked in the description. So you guys can check it out if you want to go follow her, by the way. I meant to say
Oh
that
boy.
beginning. But no, like I totally like agree. Like for instance, like Valentine's Day, if I was going out to dinner with like my man or whatever, Kennedy would have been fire, fresh wig, you know what I'm saying? Late to the nines, we would have had like a nice little caked up face, really cute dress, some nice heels. Yeah, but like now if I was just like hanging with you, like, oh, you want to hang out? It's Valentine's Day, we're just hanging at this place. Sure, we just did a little something like a little something chill. And that's the thing too, especially if you're talking about like athletes, if that's who you like, girl, you don't ever want to come off like you're trying super hard. Like if you know you're hanging out at this man's place, do not go over there. We're going to have to do a whole episode on first links. That's what we're gonna have to do. But yeah, like you don't want to come off like you're that girl who does too much because then they're gonna be like, oh, I know what kind of person she is, even if that's really not. Some people really do like wearing makeup every day because that's just their thing. That's not Kennedy's thing, but some people do, and then some people do it just to like a first impression and like look better or whatever. But just less is more, chill is good too, but unless that's like your vibe.
Yeah, like I think that every girl like has her thing and like if your thing is
Mhm.
makeup and looking good, do it. But like that is not my thing and I will not tell anybody that it is my thing. So but you know, it varies for everybody, but that's just like my little secret, a little
Yes,
time of the day.
that's definitely a good one because that's like super smart for the same way. So like, okay, you got your little scouting report, girl. You wrote down what you like want in someone. You've decided if it's really like needed or not. Like your preference. What you're looking for in someone. Ding, you get a requested direct message on Instagram. Guy pops up. All right, Eris, first thing, what are you doing? You click on a message, you see his little message. it's some emojis maybe, or he's saying like, yo, what's up? You single? Like, what's the first thing you do when you see the message?
I'm stalking his profile. I'm sending it to my friends, and I'm saying, "Is he cute?"
No, literally.
Like,
Before you even reply.
no, no, like I'm not even kidding you. Like my friends have seen every single man that I've ever thought about being interested in.
Mhm.
And I've also stalked their friends and him before I even respond with a hey.
Yes.
And like also like if you slide into my DMs with just a hey, you're not getting a response from me.
What
Like
is that?
I'm a funny girl. You need to be funny, okay? Like like come on, like I'm not gonna respond to a little hey. Like this is not Tinder. This is my Instagram DMs where I'm looking the baddest of the bad. Don't play with me.
Yes.
Me.
You're gonna get the personality. Like, what one guy sent me the eyes emoji, and I was like, what is with the eyes emoji? So I sent the eyes emojis back because like I saw who he was, and I was like, oh, hold on a second. I'm not gonna fumble this one. But so I sent the eyes back, and I was like, and he goes, hey, what's up? What you up to? And I'm just like, no, I think he said, where am I from? It's in my bio. You know where I'm from. You know I'm from the city. Okay, what do you mean where am I from? I'm like, where are you from? Like, what? So it's like some guys can be awkward and then some guys can just not put forth effort. But yeah, it's just always like, what do you want me to say back to that? But as soon as I see it, I'm clicking on the profile, I'm checking the friends. There's a lot of guys left in the requested because I found someone that I like a little bit better, maybe in his circle. And so I'm like, yeah, you're not gonna catch me slipping. Let me wait. Let me play this out a little bit. Let me see how it goes. A lot of guys I'd keep too in that like friend zone at the beginning because I don't know yet how I feel about maybe someone else. So I'm gonna keep you right here. Just sit there, a little step. We'll be play nice, little puppy, and then maybe I'll decide if I want to keep you. You go to Petland and you get to pick dogs and play with them. Yeah, that's what it is. It's literally like, okay, I'm gonna pull this one out. Let's see if I like this puppy or not. Put him back. I'm gonna try that one over there. I don't. Nobody moves. Okay, no one moves and gets the paper signed of like, all right, we talk until I have figured out what it is. Especially if he has friends. If he plays sports, girl, check the whole squad, the roster. You do not want to pick the first guy who talks to you and then be like, oh my God, this guy is better. Now, unless he's like a professional athlete, then that one you can't be picky with because his teammate might not ever like you. And you need to know too your worth of like reasonable. Let's be real.
Yeah, like it's so funny because like first of all, and not a lot of people slide into my DMs because no. But second of all, because I am a person that is in relationships for too dang long. And it's just funny because like I don't like post my man, first of all, that's a whole other thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like if I'm in a relationship or not, even if it's like a little situationship, like you're gonna know. And I like when I tell you, Kennedy, I stay in them for way too long. I stay in them for way too long. So like it's not even like fun. I'm like, unless you're funny in my DMs, like I'm not going to respond. And also all my relationships start off as friendships.
Mm-hmm. Good
So
one.
that's the downfall. Is like if you aren't my friend, you probably don't really have a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, and also I don't really trust males' intentions ever.
Mm-hmm.
So you getting a response to me in my DM, one is like I don't even know. That's like a miracle. And two, if you sign into my DM, just don't. Like,
Yeah.
no. But if you do, I for sure will stalk you. I just might not respond.
Yes. Just know I saw it. Kennedy's
No, like I most definitely
saw it.
saw.
Reddit, my friend, the private snap. We all saw it. I just might not have replied. And that's the thing too. I stay in situationships for so long. Sometimes I'm in one for like a year. We're just not even gonna discuss it. One's like 2 going on 3 years. We're just not gonna discuss it anymore. But I do have a question for you. Are you one who is what is it? Faithful to a single man? Is that how they word it? Where you're like, oh, I'm done and I'll talk to anyone else because like we're talking, but like you're not like
Yeah.
exclusively like dating.
So, I don't even want to say this right now. But okay, first of all, I already touched on the fact that it takes me forever to develop feelings.
Mhm,
So it takes me a really long time, but when I fall hard. Once again,
mhm,
towards me. But I do commit myself to that one person for a really long time, just because I'm like, if we've done this for a year or 2 years, which is usually how long they last, how have you been hiding this stuff from me? Because I
mhm.
know pretty much I know everything, and I always have a friend watching, my mom, like somebody's watching on my side, so I would have figured something out by now.
Right.
Which is why having like the friend dating a friend is like nice for me because like everybody knows who he is and everybody's watching for my sake. But yeah, I think that now though, after my last relationship, I I don't want to like cut myself off to that one person anymore because I
Mhm.
do think that it's not that they didn't do that. Like they were most definitely like committed to me, but like towards the tail end, there were for sure the backups that they had. You know what I'm saying? Like they brought their
Mhm.
backup. So, and I just don't think that it's worth it that much because it's like I might not even want this anymore. But I'm not gonna like go out and like date and like have sex with these men. I'm just gonna be like, yeah, these are like my friends. Like we're cool. I'm gonna keep good graces, but I'm
Yes.
not gonna do anything to ruin what could be. Is what I'm trying to say here.
No, that was definitely what I wish I would have done after the last one. It was like, well, what? My sister always laughs at me. Oh, really? It took you almost 3 years? Like, yeah, I know. But like, I really like this person, but like, I'm the kind of person that like, I can be content with one person. Too many people stress me out. I have enough social anxiety. I don't have to like talking to multiple people. Like, one person's enough. And I knew like that he had other girls. Like, if I'm like, no, I don't feel like coming over. All right, fine. I'll be go call her. Like, I knew that like it wasn't a problem for me. It's whatever. Do what you need to do. But we had certain things that we were like exclusive about, if you know what I mean. Like there were certain things we just don't cross with other people. So it was fine. Do your thing, live your life. I never want to come off as one that's like, depending on the person, that like you're like controlling their life. So I was like fine with it, but I felt like I wasted literally a year, 2 years, literally wasted them because I was closed off to so many people. And the minute that like December hit and I was like, all right, I'm gonna open these doors and I'm gonna see what happens. I've met like 3 or 4 like very nice guys who actually like are in my area. Like the things that have things that I like more than he did. And this is someone who I was like, oh my God, I really like him. He really fits everything. He fits all my box. He was not 6'5", he was 6'1", but it was still close enough. But he fits all my boxes and everything. And I don't know, like this person, no one else is gonna like match all of them. And I've met guys who have exceeded my expectations and or have like met them. And so I'm like, wow, the minute I open the door, I think it's better. And I know I've heard too, and of course I'm not a guy, so I don't know, but I've heard some say like the more you like them and all the attention you show, the less they like you. So like if you only give them everything, they can't really grow space to like you. And so that's one thing I would say, like, yeah, I'm more open right now to until it is official, we are boyfriend and girlfriend. And I still wouldn't post them on social media because the girls are sneaky. But at that phase where we can post each other, I wouldn't be closed off. I'm not closing anyone else off.
Right. See, so a couple of things here that you've said that are very key, but I once again, I hate relationships
Mm-hmm.
because there's so many stupid rules of relationships. Like if you
Rules.
want to date this person, just date this person, like do whatever you want. But I think that this is a good topic for like, can guys have girl best friends?
Oh my God. Yes. Is that a
Yeah,
topic?
that's a whole other thing because like that's a whole other thing. But like I personally do
No.
not care because if like if he actually likes me, nobody is a threat to my relationship. That's the thing with cheating, is that he if he cheated on you, I'm sorry, everybody hate me if you want to, but like he did not like you as much as he said you did because if you really love and like someone like you say you do, you don't cheat on them. You don't do anything to hurt them. And it's just I think it's foolish. But what you said about like the posting thing and like being in like a really like I think that being in a relationship is stupid because if you like this person once again like you will do anything, and I think that the rule of like guys don't like it when you give them too much
Mm-hmm.
is stupid because I'm a giver, all I do is give.
Yeah.
So, like if you tell me not to give everything that I have to you, then you are hindering my happiness because I'm happy by helping you achieve what you need, giving you everything that you need to know about me so that you can also like fulfill me and like be in partnership with me. And so like when people say that to me, I'm just like, if he doesn't like when you give him his all, well then he's probably not liking you if you give him literally nothing. Like then
He
what
just
is he
doesn't
like?
like you.
Yeah, like what is he liking for if it's not for your all because he doesn't want to figure out something 2 months down the road because you didn't tell him up front when you were giving him your like that. I'm just like, what is going like I'm like, what is going on here?
No, that is so true. Because literally, like when I'm like, so like who takes care of you? Like literally, this one guy literally takes care of everyone, his family. Like I don't think anyone ever like just looks out for him or whatever. I don't need anyone looking out for me. I don't need you looking out for me. My mom did. I'm just like, why? Because I said I wanted to fold your clothes and help you with your laundry. like, like,
like,
I just wanted to be nice. I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here and you were just listed off all the stuff you have to do and get done and all the people you have to call. I just was trying to help, but
yeah, like I'm
okay.
trying to be a decent human, and like I don't like, and I'm not trying to like make like complete you. I'm just trying to like help you be a better friend. Like I want to take off some of the pressure so that you can be a better athlete, a better human,
Yes.
a better son, like a better everything. And like if I can do that, I will. And I hope that you would do the same for me. And that to me is giving
Yes.
it all. And
And
I
that's
just
the
like,
point.
yeah.
If my thing is like, I want to show you how I want to be treated. So it's like, if I do this, I want you to feel like you would do the same. Like that's all it literally is. But some guys are just weird like that. I don't know if that's to do with how some people are raised or something. I have no clue. Maybe some people just can't accept love in,
Yeah,
certain
I
ways, but
think
I'm just
right
like, what?
now, so with social media, like our perception of relationships and our rules of relationships has been very skewed because like you go on social media and they're like, don't do this, don't do this. Like guys are
Mhm.
like, no, once again, if he wanted to, he would. Like
Yeah.
don't forget that. And like I saw this TikTok the other day. It was like, no, if he wanted to, he would. Is such a stupid. No, I'm like, no, if he literally wanted to, he would. Clearly, like
Yeah.
half of y'all are single, but still talking to a man for 3 years because he didn't want to commit, and you're living on his terms. No, if he wanted to commit with you, he would have, and he
Yeah.
didn't. You've been in a situation for 3 freaking years.
The only time that it's not true is if you're talking about like buying you all this stuff or whatever. That's completely different. If we're talking about like how some girls, like guys will surprise them with all these flowers that maybe he can't afford that, that's completely different. But like free things that come with like common sense, no, that's true. But if you're talking about comparing a guy to another guy based off what he buys, one buys his girlfriend, completely different. Like that's not what we're talking about. But no, I think it's true. Okay, so tell me this: are you the kind of person, do you think that if you talk to one guy on a team, it's okay to just be like, oh, I'm gonna also talk to the other person? Some people, I take that back. Some people, it's not that they think it's okay. Some people just don't care. And I'm the one who I worry about what is being said in the locker room. Like
Yeah,
that's my thing.
yeah. See, I've had the situation happen to me before, actually. So I'll
Same
just
high school, and yeah, yeah. We
yeah,
know
it was
about that.
crazy. This guy that I dated for a while, like whatever, he was on the football team. Great guy, great, nothing but good things to say. And then I like kind of started talking to someone on the team, but like not really. It was just kind of like we were friends, but also let's just like in high school, everything is heightened. Like you're friends with someone, they're like you're dating. I'm like no,
Yes.
but it was like that. I was friends, and like sure I could have been a better girlfriend, whatever. But like I'm pretty sure like there was like talk that I just like wasn't like a good girlfriend and like all this stuff, which is like completely fine. I don't really care if hard skin, but like that's when I was like, okay, guys, actually talk. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that it depends on the team and how big. Like basketball,
Oh
no.
my God, no.
There's about 12 of them, so no. But
Five.
like, yeah, literally. But like if it's like football, okay,
Football's different.
like especially at college, it's completely different because there's so many guys. They're just like constantly coming in, coming out. Football's different, but also you have to realize that football players all kind of run in the same circle. So
Mm,
you can't be like the messy girl and like hooking up with like everybody and then expecting some man to commit to you.
causing problems.
Everybody talks and like stuff gets around, even if it's good or bad, like it gets around and you want to protect your peace. And
Mm-hmm.
having 1,000 different people talking about you because you dated two guys on the same team is not protecting your peace. So I think it just depends on like who the guy is and like how much he respects you and also like whose opinion everybody's taking stuff from. So
No, really. Mine and biggest thing is how it ends in the respect thing. Like I was in college and there was the guy who I was talking about in the very beginning, who I hung out with him on Valentine's Day, and then he hung out with the other girl that night.
that's bogus to me. But anywho,
it was a whole it was a whole thing. And so it's so funny. Me and him, we've been friends again since that happened. That was like 2017. We've been friends since then and everything. Right now we're on the outs because he's in New York right now with another girl, but we're not gonna talk about that. Anyways, so we like went through my diary and literally like we're reading like the whole like everything I wrote about him like that happened in real time. And because he wasn't understanding why I was still upset to this day. This was I was like, what? I have maybe 19 or yeah, because I went to Michigan for my birthday that year. I just turned 20. Like, that's like 4 years ago. Why are you so mad about it? And I'm like, because you like played me. Like, yeah, we're cool now. We became real good friends afterwards, but you kept playing me. Like, you treated me like I was your girl. Like, all of this, we're going back and forth about it. We went through and we read it. And I was like, no, look at how this plays out. Crazy thing, crazy thing is, because of how things ended. So long story short, so crazy. I find out one day I'm in his room and the girl is banging on his door. And I should have went to the door, and to this day I still regret not opening it, but I'm so messy, I'm so petty, and I have the temper. It would have went down. And I'm glad I didn't open the door. The crazy thing was the girl knew who I was. That's the thing I don't like. When they know who I am and I have no clue who they are. So clearly you know who the queen is. But anyways, so I'm like, whatever, it's the whole thing. And don't worry, there's a point to the story. So fast forward, we're at like this like cultural event for eating. And I was with some of like other athletes, and they're like, oh yeah. I was like, he's not like that. He's a great guy. I'm like, really? Because he messes with the girl on the volleyball team, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, he doesn't. And I'm like, but the thing that was weird was I didn't live on campus. I lived off campus and he lived on campus. And so even though I spent like every day with him before football practice, blah, 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 and all that, I'm not there after hours. About 5 o'clock, I'm gone. So he has the whole night, to venture off. So I'm arguing with these people, very heated. And I'm like, really? Well, that's on her, because I'm going off, I'm telling how it is. So I'm like, whatever. That night, I was hanging with a different guy or whatever. Like, we were just friends. Some stuff went down, and I was texting. I only was friends with the guy I was talking to, his friend. We're gonna call him shoot. What's the
Call him John.
John. Okay. I only was friends with John's friends because I was new and stuff. So I had contacted one of his friends who's on the football team, and I was like, hey, can you like, and he lived in the same floor as him. Can you please come get me? Like, I don't feel safe. Like, this is about to go down, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'll come get you. Turns out it was a guy who was in my class who was on the football team also, completely different guy. I don't save numbers. And when you're in college, everyone has different area codes. So my girl, I messed it up. One was Houston, one was California. Don't know. They're nowhere near alike. But anyway, somehow I did. I run outside when he says he's outside. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm waiting at the door, the guy's door, who I think I'm like, he's going to let me stay on his floor. And I'm like, open the door. He's like, I'm here. I can't open the door. I don't have like the passcode. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, I'm outside. I'm like, why are you outside? I go outside, and it's the other guy. I'm like, dang it. We're walking back. He's like, oh, you can stay in my room. He went to go stay with one of his thoughts, one of his females. And so he was like, you can just stay in my room. This is the dorm bed. I'm like, okay, thanks. We're walking. It's like 1 a.m, maybe, to the dorm. Here comes John and the girl on the volleyball team who they told me about. And I'm like, we're looking dead at each other. So he thinks I'm messing with the other kid. When really, and the funny thing is, I was calling John the whole time, trying to get him to come get me. I'm new here. I don't know anything. He's not answering the phone. This is why you're answering the phone, because you're high and with the volleyball girl. So I'm like, oh, I don't say anything after that. I was done. When you disrespect me is when it comes off. I'm a kind of person, like, I can handle myself. I know what it is. I'm not going to be anyone's like hookup and all that kind of stuff. But when you disrespect me, I'm like, all right, my respect for you is gone. So another guy came along later. He was a corner. I talked to him, was on the same football team. Sure did. Why? Because we have nothing anymore. When you disrespect me, when you lie, when you embarrass me, when you keep lying to me and I have to see it with my own eyes and stuff, and you make me think I'm insane, I lose respect for you. So I'm the kind of person, once the respect is lost, like, long as like, oh, things just fade, we just don't talk anymore, we're not cool, whatever, I won't disrespect you. I won't talk to anyone else on your team. Now, like, football's different because it is a bigger team. It's fine. But simply because of that, that's cool. I'm not anyone's thought. So if I talk to someone, like, we're talking, we're not like hooking up, sure. You disrespect me, it's fine. I have no respect for you. If your teammate comes along who is better, who wants to offer better, I'm not saying sis don't miss out, but just make sure that you're completely done with the other person. And
Yeah, and like I think
John's done.
how the relationship ended and everything, but you
Mm-hmm.
just reminded me. This is going back to the scouting report, but I follow this lady on Instagram. She's bomb as heck. Her name's Tanya Rad. I wouldn't suggest following her because she's kind of obnoxious, but she has this journal called Dear Future Husband, and in that journal, she writes down all of her stories, all of her positive memories about like the dates that she's been on and everything, and like she goes back and flips through them because she's like, this is what I want in my husband. Like, I want, although it didn't work with Bill, I want it to work with like whoever I marry down the road. And like, I know it'll feel like this because it felt like this. And like, I just think it's so cool. And that's another way to like build your scouting report for yourself and for others. Is like,
Mm-hmm.
this is like a literal concrete thing to see what I like and what I don't like.
Right.
And I'm thinking about that. because then she gives it to like whoever like proposes. She's like, I'm saving it for like when I get engaged because I'm gonna give it to him and be like, this is how I feel along the
That's
line.
really
So
good.
you guys ever need like a concrete thing, like title it Dear Future Husband, and like you're also only gonna write in it when it's like good, but you can also write in it bad because you're like, I never want to feel like this with my husband. And it's
Oh
just
yeah, that's
it's
good.
a good way to like keep both of you accountable and to never like lose that feeling and spark because you can always go back to it.
I'm definitely gonna have to get to write that. That's really good.
Well, we can like share our crazy dating stories on another episode because I have a couple.
Oh my god, I'm gonna write that down as a good topic.
And like maybe you could do like get like your little TikTok followers to submit them and we just like go through them and like rate them.
But yeah, so thank you so much, Eris, for coming on here. I think you have made some very good points that the girls can hear. She's definitely going to be back, you guys, with more. Just make sure you really are investigating before you go ahead and like answer that DM, girl. Make sure you check in, send it to your friends, because sometimes too with your friends, they will notice things that you won't, and they know you, and so they know like they can see that person without having the emotion. So always double check, make sure, and just remember you have the choice to choose. They're not choosing you, you're choosing them. Thank you guys so much. I hope, can't wait to see you guys in the next episode. See you guys later. Bye.